I'm not saying your time is up. The people of New Jersey tell me my time is up. These sentences were said during a Senate hearing. The FBI director and a U.S. senator were shouting at each other at the same time while the committee chair was banging the gavel. But the road to this explosion began in a much quieter place, from a single word. Frequently. Frequently, Senator Cory Booker asked FBI Director Kash Patel a simple question. "How often do you talk to Stephen Miller?" Patel replied, "Often." Those two words shaped the rest of the hearing, because Booker used this answer as a starting point, and from there, step by step, he built each question on top of the previous one until the final question. "We cannot watch you with trust. I have to question who you are protecting." "Do I have to question who you are protecting?" Booker's first question seemed technical, almost bureaucratic. Brian Driscoll, a name, a termination letter. Dated October 8, 2025. Patel replied, "There is an active lawsuit. I cannot explain. This serves as a legal shield." And Booker did not object to this. He went straight to the next question. "Have you ever talked to Stephen Miller about this person?" Patel, "I don't remember." Booker didn't stop. "So, how often do you talk to Stephen Miller?" Patel, "Frequently." There is a noteworthy detail here. The phrase "often" was not an optional response. Patel volunteered that. He added that they talked about domestic security task forces. He said Miller was valuable in interagency operations. Booker did not accept this framework, but also did not directly refute it. He set up the next question. "So you frequently talk to Stephen Miller about the FBI's duties and responsibilities." Patel added that he also frequently spoke with Attorney General Bondi. Of course, he is the Attorney General. And at this point, the official record included this. The FBI director frequently meets with the White House senior policy advisor and the Attorney General. This was not a secret, but it was important that it was recorded. Booker continued, and the topic changed. Cory Booker pointed out a rare situation in FBI's history: Kash Patel and individuals at the deputy director level lacking previous operational FBI experience within the agency. According to Booker, this is not a minor detail, because large federal institutions like the Federal Bureau of Investigation operate with a wealth of experience that carries institutional memory, coming from different administrations, and this continuity is a crucial part of decision-making capacity. Agents who have specialized in certain areas for decades pass on that expertise along with new leadership. The disruption of this structure directly affects operational capacity. Booker claimed that the vast majority of experienced agents were either fired or forced into early retirement. This claim has not been officially confirmed but is the subject of ongoing legal proceedings, and then he gave a number. A figure he said was based on data from the conservative think tank, the Cato Institute. 20% of FBI agents had been pulled from their regular duties to be assigned to immigration enforcement operations. But the real kicker was this. It's not a marginal 20% redistribution. This means the redirection of a large operational force to a specific area, and this means the people who took that capacity from their previous duties, organized crime, foreign influence, election interference, corruption investigations, left a gap in those areas. Kash Patel interrupted before the question was completed and set up his own defense line. He listed operational data such as the number of major arrests, seized weapons, rescue operations, and quantities of drugs in succession, steering the discussion toward security and indicators of success. Meanwhile, Ted Cruz had turned to another question. Thus, the two were speaking simultaneously in different frames, with one highlighting performance and statistics while the other was advancing the topics of legal and institutional responsibility. Booker did not dispute the figures Patel presented, but he didn't accept them either. "He is not answering my questions," he said. And this sentence changed the course of the trial. Because Booker was not asking what the FBI was doing, he was asking who was removed, how they were removed, and on what basis. Were the agents investigating organized smuggling networks shifted to immigration enforcement operations? What is the status of the units working on Russian oligarchs? Are the teams specialized in abuse cases still on duty? Patel did not answer these questions with a direct yes or no. Each time he objected to the framing of the question. Booker named this cycle, "I have seen this pattern throughout the entire hearing." You are discussing the frame of the problem instead of getting to the heart of the problem. This was not an accusation. It was an observation, but a recorded observation. And this observation laid the groundwork for Booker's next step.
Booker stopped asking questions. He used direct expressions, unconditionally, without qualification. He said Patel made the country weaker and less secure. He said the US is more vulnerable to a major incident. He said the FBI's institutional memory has been destroyed. He said agents with decades of experience assigned to critical cases were dismissed. He alleged that recruitment standards were lowered, and he linked this to a figure Patel himself mentioned in the same hearing. It will take 14 years to fill the current vacancies. This figure was taken from Patel's own statement. Booker turned it back on him. 14 years, this is your own figure, and this is the measure of the loss during your term. At this point, the situation took a different turn. Booker's question was, why were these task forces, election interference, foreign influence, corruption, shut down? And then he answered the question himself. Those who benefit from the corrupt are winning. Criminals are winning. Vladimir Putin is winning. And he added, this makes me question who you are protecting. This brings us to the point where we cannot trust you. These statements reflect Booker's own assessment. It is not a legal finding, but it has made its way into the official Senate hearing transcript as words spoken by a US Senator to the FBI Director. Booker expanded the topic. He moved on to the Epstein files. He reminded that Patel made a public statement before taking office, promising to share these files with the public, and he claimed that that commitment was not fulfilled. Then he turned to Brian Driscoll. The lawsuit filed by Driscoll and two other FBI officials alleges that Patel conducted a retaliation campaign against agents who participated in criminal investigations during the Trump administration. These allegations are unproven and the legal process is ongoing. Booker directly challenged Patel's statement that he was unaware of the investigations into these agents' conduct and that they were terminated for other reasons. He said, "I don't believe your statement." And then he quoted a former FBI official. This person had stated that the period when Patel took office was the time when the country's leading law enforcement agency had been destroyed for generations. This quote is an assessment relayed by Booker, not an official finding. Booker said, "You attacked the integrity of the institution in 8 months." Within 8 months, no, you attacked. He chose that word. He didn't make any qualifications. Booker said one more thing, the unexpected. I will pray for you. I will pray that you can defend the Constitution you swore to uphold. I will pray that you can protect this country better. This was a closing statement, and with that sentence, the official framework of the trial should have come to an end, but it didn't. Patel replied. He spoke about social media posts. You are dividing this country, he said. Cory Booker intervened, saying, "This is my time." But Kash Patel continued without interruption, and upon this insistence, Booker's tone rose, momentarily turning the session's rhythm into a tense confrontation. There's no saying I didn't get what I wanted within the time limit. The people of New Jersey tell me when my time is up. You can't threaten me. I am not afraid of you. The committee chair declared a breach of procedure. Two men were speaking at the same time. The cameras were recording both of them. This was the moment when the institutional framework could no longer hold both sides. In this hearing, Kash Patel defended operational success with verifiable numerical data such as arrests, weapon seizures, rescues, and drug quantities, while Cory Booker presented a different framework for accountability in the Federal Bureau of Investigation, defining it through institutional memory, experience, and management continuity rather than individual operations. Booker brought an institutional framework. Who was dismissed? Which departments were closed? Which processes slowed down or stopped? These questions cannot be answered with the numbers Patel provided, and that's why the two men never met at any point. The Stephen Miller question is on the record. The Driscoll case is on record. The 20% figure is on record. The 14-year gap account is on record. Booker's withdrawal of trust, Patel's rejection, the moment they both shouted at each other, all recorded. A trial does not prove facts, but it documents what was asked, what was answered, and what was left unanswered. This trial documented all three of these. I am not afraid of you. This sentence was the final word of a long trial. Before that, legal techniques came. Task forces, layoffs, constitutional oath, a prayer, And at the end of all this, two men were shouting at the same time in an official Senate session.